Welcome to Top 30. I'm Kristen Smith.
And I'm Richard Bacon, and here are the top 30 stories in 30 minutes.
Credit reporting agency Equifax announced an additional 2.4 million people had their names and driver's license information stolen in its massive cyber attack last July. Equifax had previously estimated 145.5 million Americans had their personal info compromised, including their names, social security numbers, birthdays, addresses, and in some cases, driver's license numbers. This brings the total number of people affected to a whopping 147.9 million. To put that in perspective, that's slightly more than the entire population of Russia and roughly 46% of the US population. The company said in a statement, Equifax will notify these newly identified US consumers directly and will offer identity theft protection and credit file monitoring services at no cost to them. Experts say some ways to keep your personal information safe are to use strong passwords, keep your software up to date, use caution with smart devices, and stay off public Wi-Fi.
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend and mine, Nicole Pedalidis. Nicole, I am hearing that Amazon has launched a new feature.
That's right, Richard. If you've gotten a photo notification of your Amazon package at your front door, you are not alone. Some couriers take a picture of where the packages are left. The reason, in part, to make it less visible to would-be thieves. Chipotle really wanted to expand beyond burritos, but it turns out it's closing its burger experiment in Ohio. The restaurant, Tasty Made, does not seem to have been much of a hit with the customers. Interest rates are rising, but that's not stopping Americans from borrowing record amounts of money for auto loans. Get this, the average new vehicle loan hit a record high of nearly $32,000.
Nicole, tell me, what is behind this spike?
Consumers are stretching out their loans, partly because new vehicle costs have climbed more than 10% over the last 5 years.
Nicole Pedalidis on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Thank you. Kristen, you have more fallout from the Larry Nassar story.
That's right, Richard. Olympic gold medalist Ali Raceman has filed a lawsuit against USA Gymnastics and the U.S. Olympic Committee. The six-time Olympic medalist claims the organization, quote, knew or should have known about the sexual abuse by Dr. Larry Nassar. And Jay-Z just knocked Diddy from the #1 position on Forbes' list of wealthiest hip-hop artists with a net worth of about $900 million. It's the first time in 7 years Diddy hasn't held the spot, but he's fine with an estimated net worth of $825 million. And this video of Virunga National Park pilot Anthony Kerr rescuing a baby chimp from poachers in the Congo is the cutest thing you will see all week. Musa the chimp is even co-piloting his flight to freedom. We're happy to report he's found a new home at a primate rescue center.
Time now for Royal Watch with the Sun. Let's check in with the legendary Arthur Edwards, the Sun's royal photographer for 40 years. He is in London. Arthur, welcome back. Now, Arthur, Prince William, Kate, Prince Harry, Meghan Markle spoke together. What happened?
At the Royal Foundation, William and Kate and Harry gave speeches, and Meghan was asked a question, and she was the most eloquent of all. And she said that women have a voice, they should speak out and encourage men to listen. She referenced the movements of Time's Out and Me Too, and we seem to think that when she becomes a full member of the royal family, she may well take over those two causes.
Arthur, will the Spice Girls be at the wedding?
Well, Mel B said they've been invited. Apparently, Meghan really loves the Spice Girls, so I should imagine they'll be giving her what she really, really wants.
Boom! Come on. Come on, everyone. Give me a round of applause. And now, what is this I hear about the Queen having to give way to otters and squirrels?
The Queen, as you know, trying to turn all the castles and palaces green. She wants to put a hydroelectric scheme in there. And of course, Aberdeenshire Council have put a stop to the plans because it upsets the red squirrels, which are endangered, the otters, badgers and voles.
Red squirrels are a rare sight and absolutely beautiful, whereas grey squirrels look like rats.
They are. They're rats with tails.
Exactly. Arthur Edwards, thank you.
Take care, Richard.
Welcome back to Top 30. Police are warning people about predators posing as Uber and Lyft drivers to isolate and attack women. This is something happening more and more, apparently.
Scary stuff.
I mean, it's really scary. One example given in this report that I've been reading is in Los Angeles, a man called Nicholas Morales has been charged with raping 7 women after posing as a ride-hailing service driver.
I think it's important for everyone to know that this is an isolated incident. This is happening all across the United States. These monsters are targeting drunk women.
They are monsters. Yeah, it's the right word.
In cities everywhere.
But what happens is these people pull up and say, did you call an Uber? Then they get in the car. If you look closely at your app, right, you know, you get a picture of the car, the reg plate, the colour, the driver.
Yeah.
I think the key advice is just however drunk you are, doesn't matter. Just make sure you are getting in the right car.
One thing I always do is I screenshot the info to my husband before I ever get in the car.
That's a brilliant. Do you do that?
Every single time.
What a great idea.
Just to be safe, because if I'm not paying attention, I know there's a second set of eyes that is paying attention.
It's rare that I read a report and it truly shocks me.
Yeah.
And the guy I mentioned, Nicholas Morales, I'm not going to go through the 9 counts he faces. Actually, it's more than 9 counts. But they are so terrifying. And if he's convicted of them, he'll face as many as 300 years in prison. That is how serious what he did is whilst posing as an Uber or Lyft driver.
How about this story? A woman modeling for The Gap stopped in the middle of a shoot to breastfeed her child. And that moment became the main picture of the ad campaign. Adora Acabilo said her son was booked with her for the shoot and needed to nurse. The photographer then asked if he could take some pictures of the moment, and she said, absolutely. You know, I love this so much, Richard, because it's such an organic thing. You know, when your kid's got a nurse, your kid's got a nurse. You know, I breastfed both my kids for the first year, and so it was a very organic thing that happened, and I love that this photographer, that's what photographers are supposed to do, catch art when it happens. He saw something beautiful there and captured it perfectly.
Because this debate does come around, and it comes up back home in England as well. Although I think it exists more on radio phone-ins than it does in real life, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, right?
You know what I'm saying? Because I think in the end, it's like, it's just a really natural thing that you are doing to keep your children alive, right? You know, you're feeding them.
It's helpful.
Get over it.
This is normalizing it more and more as time goes on. People are thinking, hey, this is more normal. It doesn't need to be hidden. So let's hope so. Either way, it's a proud mama feeding her child, and should be celebrated.
Exactly. Here's an interesting fact, Kristen, that you probably didn't know. There is a different holiday every day. In the last few days, have included National Pistachio Day, Polar Bear Day, Public Sleeping Day.
What's that all about?
No, certainly not as moving as MLK Day or Veterans Day. And Peanut Butter Lovers Day. Here's the thing, anyone can do this. This is what I've learned today, is that if you want to set up a holiday, you can just sort of go online and begin a process and make up your own.
There are so many, too. I mean, I love looking through these every day. We do Facebook Live, a Top 30 Facebook Live, and every day I try and talk about what unofficial holiday it is.
Yeah,
I think they're so fun. I mean, May 21st, who knew it was Talk Like Yoda Day?
Yeah.
You know, this is so random.
I didn't know that. I'm glad I didn't know that, and I now wish that you hadn't told me that.
Sorry.
If you want to do this, mate, if you want to submit a holiday idea, you can do it yourself. You can go to the Top 30 Facebook page and have a look. I've actually started one.
Oh.
Yeah. It's called the One Day That Isn't a Holiday Day.
That's a good one.
It's a big one. It's going to take off. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. The Supreme Court is debating whether Americans should be kept from voting based on their clothing. The case began in 2010 when Andrew Selick was turned away from a Minnesota polling place for wearing a T-shirt with a Tea Party slogan. A Minnesota law prohibits clothing with political messages at the polling place. And I'm sorry to be so opinionated on this, but of course they should.
You're opinionated? No.
They're sacred places, polling booths, and it has long been the law that you can't persuade people to vote one way or the other inside the booth.
If that's what that is, persuasion. Now, that's debatable. Other people say it's free speech. I think on the flip side, Richard, a lawyer for the guy in Minnesota says the First Amendment doesn't stop at the polling place door.
This is great myth about free speech and the First Amendment. Free speech has always had limitations. You can't shout fire in a cinema, and you can't go in a polling booth and tell people how to vote.
I think people view a shirt different than a sign. A shirt is, you know what, I'm taking ownership of my personal beliefs. I'm not saying, hey, you need to do this too.
I don't, it annoys me. I just think there's better things the Supreme Court to be doing. Just wear a nice, plain, fairly cool blue shirt, such as the one I'm modeling right now.
I knew you were going to say that. Alrighty, how about this story? The Pew Research Center has attempted to answer a question we've sometimes asked on this show. What the heck is a millennial? We use it so freely. But they didn't just look at birth years. They also looked at the events those Americans have lived through.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So are you ready to hear what a millennial is?
Sure.
Okay, you are a millennial if you were born within the years of 1981 and 1996.
Disappointing.
And I am actually kind of shocked because I didn't realize I was a millennial.
Yeah, you are a millennial.
I am a millennial.
Is this your real age or your stage age? What we're going with today?
I know, right?
My relationship with millennials is confusing because on the one hand, I like to say I find them annoying, but really I'm jealous because I want to be one. If you said to be a millennial, you have to have an understanding of the historical significance of the terrorist attacks of 2001, a role in sending Barack Obama to the White House, and an adaptability with certain technology, as well as being born after 1981. Can you remember the sound of a dial-up modem?
Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh, you can? Oh. You're right, maybe you shouldn't be one. I know I'm not a millennial because I can remember the 1981 broadcasting of the Dallas episode Who Shot JR.
Oh, I wasn't born then.
Right, exactly. And that's the difference between you and I. We'll be right back.
In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 4 Dallas, for the 10th year in a row, volunteers at the St. Andrew United Methodist Church are putting on what they call the Prom Closet, a collection of donated items that ensures every girl has the attire needed regardless of her family's income.
You know, this is something that we give from our heart.
This year's Prom Closet has grown to provide 6,000 dresses from size 0 to 30, 500 pairs of shoes, 350 evening purses, and 4,000 pieces of jewelry, because every girl deserves to feel like a princess at prom. Our next story from Fox 13 Tampa Bay. Investment company Raymond James has paired with Pinellas County Schools for the Lunch Pals program. Now students like Davion don't have to feel alone at lunchtime.
Probably one of the most important contributions that any company and their staffs could make to help every kid reaching his full potential.
Now over 1,000 kids have a friend to eat with. Our final story from Fox 7 Austin. In the devastation of Hurricane Maria, many families had to leave everything behind. For some, that included their pets. But thanks to the work of the Austin Humane Society and Puerto Rico Animals Unite, more than 30 dogs were reunited with their owners.
We feel now together, like a complete family. Like now we can rest and sleep well.
After nearly 6 months apart, it's safe to say many families will sleep better now that their furry friends are by their side. Welcome back to Top 30. Let's go to Danielle Knox from Fox 35 Orlando. She has what you need to know today. Danielle?
Hi there, Kristen. That's right. Having kids can age you. A new study from George Mason University finds that having children causes a woman's DNA to age by, get this, 11 years. The study says childbirth can age a woman more than smoking or even obesity. All right, having said that, I'm still going to believe that the glass is half full, but new research says defensive pessimism can actually help people succeed in situations where optimists can't. They say pessimists often have low expectations, so they're often more prepared if something does go wrong, and they avoid bad situations entirely, giving them an edge in success. A new survey quoted by The Independent says 1 in 20 customers have dined and dashed, not because they're cheap, but rather they have to wait too long for the bill. If you do dine and dash and you get caught, you could be waiting in handcuffs. Just some food for thought. And that's what you need to know. Kristen, back to you now.
Unbelievable that people do that, but thanks for keeping us in the know, Danielle.
I once accidentally drove off from a gas station in England without paying.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get caught?
Yeah, the police came and got me.
Oh, no.
Don't do it. One app has exploded so quickly, it is facing backlash before many Americans have even heard of it. Vero is a social media platform. It came out 2 years ago, but only recently rose past Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat in the iOS App Store. In 1 week, it surged over 1,400%. The word is Latin for truth. It populates users' feeds chronologically instead of using an algorithm like many other apps. It's also free from advertising and promises not to track your data. Vero has added so many users so quickly that lots of them are complaining about technical difficulties. The company tweeted an apology, but users are also criticizing Vero's CEO, Ayman Hariri. He used to lead a Saudi construction company that became the center of a large scandal. Media reports allege that thousands of workers went without pay and were forced to live in cramped quarters with little to eat or drink. Vero, however, says Hariri was not part of those decisions. But that has not stopped many from using the hashtag #DeleteVero. The Winter Olympics are over, which travel experts say makes this the ideal time to visit Pyeongchang, and that is because Olympic host cities are upgraded at a cost of billions of dollars, improvements that often remain in place even after the closing ceremonies, but without the high prices of attending the actual games. South Korea built a brand new high-speed train connecting Seoul to many winter resort towns that are eager for tourism revenue. Beijing turned the site of the 2008 Summer Games into China's largest indoor water park. In advance of the 2010 Winter Games, Vancouver spent nearly a decade upgrading highways to ski resorts. It also built a new monorail that led to an increase in new local businesses and tourism. And in Utah, the Olympic Organizing Committee spent $76 million of their profits to turn 3 Olympic arenas into sports parks open to the public. Now tourists there can try skeleton racing, riding in a bobsled, or even curling.
Yes.
Although I wouldn't bother with that one.
Hey, I want to try curling, so...
That's it, I've done it.
All right, good stuff. Well, since 2005, the Make a Film Foundation has helped children with critical or terminal illnesses make their Hollywood dreams come true. Paired with noted actors, writers, directors, and producers, the kids craft 5-minute short films telling exactly the story they want to tell in exactly the way they want to tell it. Founder Tamika Lamison says media is a powerful form of self-expression, and the film legacies the children create are often therapeutic as they undergo their treatment. Recently, 16-year-old Anthony Conti got to write, perform, and direct a zombie short film called The Black Gondola. He starred alongside Johnny Depp, Laura Dern, and J.K. Simmons. Anthony got to view a rough cut of the project shortly before he passed away from stage 4 adrenal cortical cancer in January of last year. And those close to him said that during the hardest months of his life, his film was another world he could escape to.
Isn't that a great thing? I'd love to see. I love the idea of it's a zombie short.
Yeah.
Starring J.K. Simmons and
for sure. And you've got
Johnny
to,
Depp, yeah.
you have to imagine it is therapeutic during such a tough battle.
Yeah, I think no doubt about it. It's a great thing. Top 30 will be right back.
As we've previously reported, the beloved Reverend Billy Graham passed away in February at the age of 99. Paige Failing from Fox 46 Charlotte tells us more about what America's pastor meant to his home city. Paige?
Yeah, thanks, Kristen. You know, Billy Graham, as you said, is known as America's pastor, right? But he grew up right here in Charlotte, so we all feel a really special tie and connection kind of directly to him. If you have ever been to, or maybe even just heard about the Billy Graham Library, you know the first thing that you're greeted by during a visit is a talking cow. Of course, right? That's a shout out to Reverend Graham's upbringing here in Charlotte on a dairy farm. And we have so enjoyed having visitors here recently from all over the world, including presidents, all coming to our beautiful city to pay their respects. It has been so wonderful. We're so glad to be able to now see people come together in our beautiful city to remember a beloved man and his message of love for everyone. So, Kristen, if you have not yet made it to Charlotte, we would love to have you. And so would our talking cow.
I'll try my best, especially to see that talking cow. Thanks, Paige. According to studies, our collagen production is reduced about 1% each year, beginning at the age of 20. As a result, the skin becomes thinner and wrinkles begin to form, which is why we've got today's top 30 deal. Dynamic Innovation Labs Collagen Cycle Serum at a special 92% discount. The Collagen Cycle Serum is a volume-building wonder serum that uses a combination of peptides and proteins to boost your skin's collagen levels via a comprehensive 3-stage collagen cycle, restoring levels to that of younger skin while effectively reducing wrinkles for a more youthful appearance. Dynamic Innovation Labs Collagen Cycle Serum retails for as much as $495, but today you can buy it for just $39. That's about a 92% discount, and you can get this right now at top30deals.com while they last.
Canadians are living longer than ever. According to a 2016 census by Statistics Canada, there were 8,230 people aged 100 or even older living in Canada. Centenarians saw a remarkable 41.3% rise the fastest growth rate of any age group in the country between 2011 and 2016. Billy Williamson is 101 and lives in a retirement home in Vancouver. And she says, I keep wondering, how old is 101 supposed to look like? Nobody knows that answer. Claire Adelberg celebrated her 103rd birthday with Williamson at the retirement home and attributes her longevity to staying active. Experts predict there could be up to 40,000 centenarians in the country by 2051. Kristen, what is coming up in the next show?
Well, Richard, we're talking about a new health warning. Research says that some nutritional supplements could actually be harmful. Plus, 50 years after man first walked on the moon, you'll be able to get cell service there. And one animal lover went above and beyond to save a dog in danger. Top 30 also covers more of the day's stories live on Facebook every day at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. It's all coming up on the next Top 30.